May 2016 saw the release of Nancy Drew Diaries number 12. The Sign in the Smoke follows the series' proud tradition of titles that are completely unrelated to the books themselves.
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
Everyone is having ice cream when Bess reveals her summer plans. She's going to be a counselor at the newly reopened Camp Cedar Bark. Bess harasses her friends. Bess convinces her friends to join her as counselors. During the scene where they leave, it's revealed that George is an only child. I guess that means her brother Scott doesn't exist anymore. Poor Scott. The girls arrive at the camp where they meet various other counselors. One of them is Bella, and she scares everybody with the story of why the original camp shut down 5 years ago. It's because a counselor went crazy and drowned a camper in the lake. Ever since then, the camp has been haunted. That night, there are ghostly noises coming from the lake. The girls are scared, and when they investigate, it's just Bella playing a prank on them. Everyone gets mad at her, and everyone gets even more mad at her later on when Bella tries to hold a seance. The next morning, the girls take a swimming test, and Nancy complains about how cold it is like 5 times in a row. When she swims, something grabs her ankle and pulls her down. Nancy sees the shadowy figure of a person holding on to her, trying to kill her. Could it be the ghost? Impossible. There's no such thing as ghosts. Except the ghost of Scott Fane, maybe. The campers arrive, and the kid who gets the most focus is Harper, the shy girl who likes reading. Nancy makes it a priority to ensure that Harper comes out of her shell and makes friends with the other girls. While Nancy deals with her campers and the other counselors, there are some minor sabotage incidents. Namely, the culprit throws all of the sleeping bags into the lake and writes "Go home" with fire. Bess and George try to pump Nancy for information about the mystery, while Nancy insists this is not a mystery. There is nothing to investigate. There is no ghost, and yeah, Nancy seems to hate mysteries in this book. Not that I blame her because of this series. If I had to put up with comic book culprit in a 100-page organic food lecture, I'd probably hate mysteries too. Nancy is finally convinced something weird is going on when 2 of her campers get pulled underwater. Nancy talks to Deborah, the camp owner, and learns the truth about what happened 5 years ago. Back then, Deborah was just a counselor. One of her campers snuck out at night to search for a ring, and she almost drowned in the lake. She ended up in the hospital for a few months, and her parents sued the camp out of existence. Deborah still feels responsible for the tragic accident. Nancy's prime suspect is Bella, so she searches Bella's cabin where she finds incriminating evidence, like matches and a ghost disguise. Nancy's all gung-ho about getting Bella ejected from the camp, until she learns that Bella's family also tried to buy the camp. The motive is money and revenge? Nancy complains that can't be right. That's an unsatisfying motive. I swear, sometimes it's like she hasn't read any of her other books. As it turns out, though, Nancy's instincts are correct, and Bella isn't the culprit. She's an unrelated person who's completely obsessed with the drowning for unexplained reasons. Bella vows to be Nancy's lifelong enemy in an intense scene that makes me wish they had continuity in this series, because I want to see Bella's crazy revenge scheme now. The last day of camp is a big camp out where all the girls sleep in the woods in the same tent. In the middle of the night, the culprit kidnaps Harper, who starts screaming. Nobody but Nancy hears Harper's screams because, reasons? Nancy rushes out and runs into Bess, who also had a camper kidnapped. They don't want to stick together, even though that would make perfect sense, so they split up according to Batman and Robin rules. That is, Bess, the goofy sidekick, goes to alert the authorities, while Nancy, the hero, stops the culprit alone. Nancy catches up to the culprit, who is Sam, the sports counselor. Her older sister is the girl who almost died 5 years ago, and Sam is furious because her parents have been really overprotective ever since then. She complains that Mom and Dad refuse to let her go on play dates or use the monkey bars, and I'm sorry, this is a bad motive for sabotage and murder. Sam, your sister almost died due to Deborah's negligence. Why isn't that your main motive? Seriously, don't lead with the monkey bars. Ugh. Also, this was 5 years ago when Sam was 13. A 13-year-old was that upset about not playing on the monkey bars? Really? Sam claims responsibility for trying to drown Nancy earlier because she spent the last 6 months training herself to swim underwater for 5 minutes at a time. I feel like it would be hard to gain that ability if you have super overprotective parents who are on guard against drowning, but no matter. The part that really strikes me as unrealistic is that Sam has kidnapped 3 campers so she can throw them off a cliff. Meaning that she dragged 3 10-year-olds through the woods for 15 minutes with no problems whatsoever. There's no way she could have gotten a firm grip on all of them the entire time. In real life, the campers would have fought back, or run away, or started screaming like Harper did. It's not like Sam has a weapon to threaten them with, so why were the kids so compliant with the murder scheme? Sam decides to kill Nancy first, and Nancy disappoints me by not even trying to fight back or escape. Sam edges Nancy closer and closer to the cliff, and gross out alert, Harper smashes her glasses on the ground, then uses the glass to stab Sam in the leg. Blood goes everywhere. Sam can't even stand up anymore, and I'm pretty sure Harper will need therapy after this. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book is 250 pages long, definitely the longest of the series so far, thanks to a number of double-length chapters. Either this author had a lot to write about, or I'm not the only one who complained that double-spaced 100-page books are too short. Personally, I liked the longer book length, although I found it a bit odd that the camp book doesn't start camp until page 80. That's a lot to build up there. Reviewer Eric Wood complains about the book's genre, as it ignores the mystery in favor of working on Harper's friendship and social skills for 2 to 3 chapters. That is a weird thing with the Nancy Drew Diaries series, actually. It's not categorized as a mystery series. It's categorized first as a growing up and facts of life series, subheading friendship, social skills, and school life, subheading girls and women. That always comes first in the book's categories. The other 2 categories are mystery and adventure, which occasionally switch places as number 2 and number 3. I didn't mind the subplot of the young girls learning how to make friends, or seeing Nancy deal with the other counselors. Those were interesting enough. But should they take pride of place in a mystery series? No, they shouldn't. I also think pop culture references shouldn't be in this series, because that is the fastest way to make your book seem old and outdated. I read the Girl Detective series 5 years after they were finished, and man, was it dated when they talked about canceled TV shows all the time. The pop culture references in this book were mostly on point, except for a Frozen joke. Congratulations, Nancy Drew books, you just caught up with 2 years ago. One highlight of this book is the haunting narrative. It tries to scare readers with nightmare sequences and interjecting spooky thoughts everywhere. To make things scarier, Nancy believes this ghost is real for the majority of the book. At one point, Nancy wonders why she believes in this particular ghost, when in every other mystery, the ghost was fake. Good question, Nancy. Good question. Also, what other ghost mysteries have you solved? This is the first one in the series. Continuity! Overall, this book has a lot of good elements, like the length and the spooky tone. I agree with the other reviewer that the mystery is just so-so, especially since the focus on what happened 5 years ago overshadows the focus on what's going on right now. Also, the culprit is rather inactive. We only get 1 culprit action every 3 chapters, and with double-length chapters, that feels like even less mystery than normal. Nancy refusing to investigate until halfway through the book doesn't help matters. So I'd say, nice book. I'd like to see more books in this vein, but maybe a bit more mystery and a bit less girl camp drama. I give Nancy Drew Diaries number 12, The Sign in the Smoke, an 8 out of 10.